Let's make sure you actually enjoy your consulting business and working with clients as opposed to pulling your hair out wondering why on earth you're so stressed out and maybe you should have just stuck with your job, which has definitely happened to me a couple of times. So hopefully going through these common mistakes and traps, you can avoid them and genuinely enjoy what you do. So timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to our Consulting Launch Playbook. More on that in a little bit. Now we'll kick things off with a question. What the heck is high ticket? If you've gone through any sort of research or rabbit hole on YouTube or even gone through some webinars, you've probably come across this term, and the advice goes something like this. You should charge higher prices because reasons, right? And they always fill in the blanks with you'll get better clients, you'll make more money, and then the list goes on, right? And there just seems to be this ridiculous marketing message that's thrown at us as consultants that we should be charging these astronomically high prices for just a couple hours a week or month of our time, or even better, we put all of our clients on a group Zoom meeting coaching call, and they're going to be just as happy paying us $2,500 or $5,000 for our big ticket, high offer, life-changing consulting package, right? So there are a couple things wrong with this model. Number one, this is primarily taught by consultants who just help consultants and coaches get clients. And then what do those clients do? They go and help other clients who are coaches and consultants get clients who also teach people how to get clients. And as you can see, it just becomes this giant hamster wheel, or just turns into this giant pyramid of every single coach and consultant teaching each other the exact same marketing system. And we'll actually go through it. It's incredibly simple. You don't need to pay $5,000 to learn how the heck this thing works. So that's problem number one. Most of the people using this high ticket model are to sell high ticket things are just teaching you how to do the same thing, right? And then their students go and do the same thing. Number two, your ability to sell what determines your price at the end of the day, not necessarily your offer or how awesome you are at getting results for other people, right? So as your abilities to sell improve, so will your pricing. Now, do I recommend going out and just like bare bones doing hourly pricing and then only getting paid like $30 an hour or something like that? Definitely not. There is a systematic way you can go creating packages and making sure you're charging enough where you don't hate yourself for getting a new client, but not so much that you're running around acting like you have a decade-long experience and everyone should just be blessed to be working with you because we are so awesome as consultants. So I'll leave a link in the cards and the description to a super deep dive guide that goes through a business consulting business plan, and it also walks through how to come up with a fee structure where you're actually going to be happy. Now, this next mistake is a quick and easy one, and that's simply stop using the word I. Like immediately. So when you're on the phone with a potential customer, when you're emailing someone, when you're making any sort of content, I is gone from your vocabulary and it's immediately we from now on. It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur right now. You always say we, because at the end of the day, I'm going to assume that you want to build an actual business and agency and just don't want to be a contractor and glorified solopreneur for the rest of all time, right? And even if you are a solopreneur, welcome to the club. You're probably going to have an assistant or two or hire a freelancer or two to help out with client work. And so whenever you're going through your sales process or creating content, just use the term we. Even if you're going to do everything, use the term we so that people understand that they're not just hiring you, they're hiring your company and your agency. And of course, this can also help with offboarding to other people on your team. Of course, I can tell you horror stories of offboarding and then having just expletive-filled emails of people going, what the heck is this? Why aren't you doing every little thing for me? And you know what? No business owner does literally every single thing. Like when you go and hire an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor, they either have a paralegal or another accountant or a nurse come in and help, right? Like they don't always do every single little detail. We all need help and we all use a team. So just start using we now. Now, the next part is not doing anything for free. Like seriously, after your first, let's say 5 clients max, you do not need to do any free work. I get this question a lot. Well, I want to be a consultant. Maybe I've gone through a course or two, or I've tried something for myself, but I don't have any client experience, right? We all need that client experience so that we can sell other clients, but we can't sell clients until we have the client experience. So something's got to give, right? And please don't just like take a Facebook ads course and then run off and start charging people to run Facebook ads. Like, our clients are not guinea pigs, right? But the first couple you might do super discounted. I think my first client wound up being less than $6 an hour. And gosh, that was hard, but I got the experience and I was able to use that as a springboard to get clients who actually started paying me what I thought I was worth at the time. And then also it just gives you experience and confidence for yourself, knowing, yes, I can actually do this. But if a client comes to you and says, I want you to do this for free, or, hey, you know what? I have this great referral network. If you just do this one little thing for me, that hardly ever works out. Please do not put yourself in that situation. You need to find 3 to 5 clients where it's deeply discounted. Maybe it's free. There's an agreement up front. You get a testimonial. You get your case studies. You get your proof. And then you move on to getting paid. After 5, that's a hard cutoff. There's no reason to bend over backwards after that, unless you're going for like a Fortune 500 company and you're going through a proposal process, but that's a whole nother issue for another day. And after you have those 5 clients, hopefully you start to grow a little bit and you're going to deal with the oh so innocent question, can you just? And then whatever comes after that, you just have to say no, right? It doesn't matter how simple it is, doesn't matter how little time you think it's going to take you. When you have a project timeline, which I recommend doing, link in the cards in the description to the consulting business plan that goes through how to create that. You have that timeline, you have the agreement of what you're going to do with a client, and then you have to say no to everything else, because scope creep is absolutely going to kill you. And those little questions add up to big questions over time. It's kind of like if you give a mouse a cookie, right? You give the mouse a cookie, then it wants a glass of milk, then they want this, then they want that. And all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, why did I spend 5 extra hours on this client this week? I'm not getting paid for this time. I thought it was just a simple question or a simple ask. And adding on to that, another big mistake a lot of new consultants make is saying, yes, I do that too. Because guess what? You don't have time. So one of the biggest mistakes you can fall into as a new consultant is trying to be a jack of all trades. Now, you've probably heard the thing, oh, you should niche down, oh, you should be specialize in this or specialize in that. And yes, there's some merit to that. But more so, it comes down to the service that you're actually offering. So as an example, we are a marketing agency, but we only do lead generation based services. So we help with building lead generation funnels, and then we help with the actual running of paid traffic. And that's it. We still don't really do anything else. Sure, we can give you advice, or we could say, hey, you could try this course or try this other agency. But at the end of the day, we stay really narrowly focused on those things. And this allows us to do 3 things. Number 1, it allows you to systematize your marketing process. And so this is what the standard funnel looks like, and just saved you $5,000 on a ridiculous high ticket mastermind. So I'll leave a link in the cards in the description that walks through exactly how this sales process works, from creating content or driving ads to a landing page, automating an email sequence to get people on the phone with you, or creating a webinar if you want. And so this is not possible if you have to create a custom service or offer for every one of your clients. Then number 2, it allows us to productize our service, right? We have a very structured process that we can take people through, so every client doesn't feel like a brand new project. It just feels like showing up to work on Monday. It's like, okay, we're gonna do the same thing again. We have a new client and they want the same result that the last client got, right? And then number 3, you actually get better at your craft. You can't get better at something if every time you bring on a new client, you're doing a different project. Now this next one deals with the sales process, and the last time we did a similar video, see I said we instead of I, right? There is a team behind this. It's not like I just sit here and do everything. Lots of other people make sure that this video gets to you. So anyway, got a lot of, let's say, critiques or negative comments about this, but when you're going through your sales process, you're on the last part of your sales call, you're about to close, and then you get the I'll think about it, right? And of course, there are lots of sales books and lots of sales techniques that goes through how do you navigate that and how do you handle that objection? How do you figure out what they actually mean? Because when someone says, oh, I need to think about it, there's like 5 or 6 other things in the back of their mind, right? But let's say for argument's sake, you go through all of that, so I don't get those same comments again, and they're still just saying, I need to think about it. You have 2 options at that point on that sales call, right? Number 1, you realize this person actually just doesn't want to do business with me and with us. And so I just need to let this go and move on. And that's another 45 minutes down the drain. We don't want to get emotionally attached to our sales calls, right? Or number two, you could discern that, oh, maybe they really do need to sleep on it. But either way, you want to have a time commitment specifically for when the follow-up is going to happen. So if someone won't commit to another call saying, okay, well, let's meet tomorrow or let's meet in 2 days at 2 p.m., right? If you can't nail down a specific time, then that's a clear indication they actually are just blowing you off and you should just move on with your life. But more importantly, it gives you and them a concrete commitment to meet up again and answer any of those lingering objections. And again, of course, ideally, you want to handle all of those on the call. You don't want to hang up and have to send them a proposal or send them some sort of listicle of items of every little thing that's in the consulting engagement, because most of the time those clients don't work out too well anyway. But there are going to be those times where people literally just have to check with their boss, check with their spouse, or just give it a little more thought. And this last one is super simple and yet somewhat hard to implement, and that's fire your clients. Seriously, if you do not enjoy working with someone, if someone is mistreating you, in your eyes, right? We all have our different standards of what is or isn't okay, then just fire them, right? Life is short. There's no need to put up with a client who's really difficult to work with for the paycheck. I can tell you from personal experience, it really isn't worth it. And so that does it for the 7 big mistakes. Let me know if I missed any in the comment section below, or if you have any questions. I still read and reply to every single one. And make sure you check out that link in the cards and the description to that super deep dive guide that goes through how to put together a consulting business plan. It goes through our model for coming up with packages and add-ons and upsells, and also walks you through how to find the perfect offer, and of course, your pricing and productizing your service. And it actually walks you through our consulting launch playbook so you can have a solid plan to get started and start getting clients. So hit that like button, subscribe for more guides just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.